joined by head coach Seth Tierney, Sam Linares, Briar Davis, and Chris Selva. Coach, when you're ready, an opening statement about tonight's game. And then when you have questions, raise your hand and I'll call on you since there's so many people here.
Tonight was a good one. I was happy to, certainly of our guys in our world. Tonight we went 2-0, and it took 60 minutes, fourth quarter. Broke it open a little bit. I was happy with the poise. I was happy with the fight. Anytime you get two teams from the same area, and there's a lot of friends that didn't like each other for 2 hours out there, that adds a little element. You know, it's your brother in the backyard, it's your best friend, and there's a lot of banging going on out there. But two teams going at it, it's always a great game. They're very well coached, and certainly proud of a couple of young guys. You know, Dylan Alderman, a freshman with 1 and 3 tonight. A couple of guys up here. He's certainly stepped up. But I was proud of the poise that they had. That it took 60 minutes to finally crack the code, and once we did, it's good to be 2-0, and now we'll start to look into the CAA with UMass coming to town on Saturday. So happy St. Patty's Day.
Michael.
Yeah, for Sam, the weather conditions were far from perfect. You talk about what it was like trying to battle the wind on both ends of the field and how it might have hampered you.
I don't think it really affected us. I mean, it doesn't really matter the weather, and we'll plan anything. I think we did a great job all around as a team with communication and getting guys in the right spot and just doing what we're doing and stay confident, keep it simple.
Questions?
Coach, fourth quarter you had 5 goals, as many as you guys scored in the past 3 quarters before that. What went right?
I thought we had some good shots. The guy that played Sam did a really nice job on him today. I mean, that's a tough cover, and he got a couple by him, got one on the break, and then nailed one down the far end. It was just staying with it. It's just a matter of just staying with it. It's a short turnaround, 2 days to prepare for these guys. Stick to the game plan. Let's not, when things get tight, we can't just throw everything out the window and think we're going to give the ball to one guy. We need other guys to step up, and today for a freshman in Dylan Alderman to have a 4-point performance, the poise he showed, he threw one to Briar Davis, and when he scored one, I mean, we're awfully proud of him. And again, we knew they were going to be scrappy. They out-brown balled us. I'm looking at that stat now, and that's something that they're really good at. Face-offs, Chris Clark again. Maybe it wasn't as dominant as the last one, but certainly it certainly helps when you double them up on face-offs.
Sam, why is Dylan Alderman? You were a freshman. That you were to jump in. Why has he been so successful kind of right away? What have you noticed about him and just being able to step up first midfielder and have a good start to his career?
I think having him come in, obviously as a freshman this year, very smooth transition for him. He stepped right into the offense from day one. He plays a lot of confidence. He makes the right decisions, and just an all-around great player.
Coach, Ryan Riley, obviously we always talk about his defensive play, but came up with some big concertos today. What did you like from his game?
Ryan is he's a heart and soul guy. He's a blue and gold guy. He's just one of those where it doesn't matter what goes on in practice. When game time comes, Ryan's ready to go, and he's leading the charge. You can always count on him for one emotional play or a Hofstra play, which is just diving, knocking a ground ball loose. He started a fast break where I think he threw it to Steve Romano and then threw it to Sam, and then Sam banged one in there in the fourth quarter. Nobody kind of goes back. Very rare do we have any defensemen that come down here. Certainly we have a goalie at times, but very rare. And those guys get an awful lot of credit because that's a pretty powerful offensive team. Eric DeJean, number 8, it's a tough cover. And Finn Sullivan, he stepped up today and did a great job on it. Michael Diener to cover Stefan Diashenko, a Canadian guy that's off ball. So it's not easy all day, just kind of following him around and making sure that you don't lose your assignments. And then certainly the 3 guys up top starting to come together. In these last 2 games, Romano, Riker, and Riley. Certainly proud of how they're starting to see some gel.
Briar, another 3-goal performance from you. What did you see in the defense that allowed you to get so open?
With our middies dodging to score, it really puts a lot of pressure on their defense to slide. So without those guys working so hard from up top, I don't think I would have got as open as I did.
Brian, how difficult was it? Passes were sailing, it seemed, and Sam too, was it that difficult to play? Was the wind that much of a factor? Did someone have to adjust? What did you have to do?
The wind played a little bit on the ball. You could see it curve in the air, but I don't think it really was that big of a factor.
We did talk about it earlier, before the game, trying to shorten our exchanges. We did throw a couple away. This one says the winds were out of the north-northwest at 19 miles an hour. Felt a little bit, but it was moving a little bit faster than that. And again, we need to just, you run until you pass and you run until you catch. It's a simple rule, and sometimes it just sails away a little bit.
Coach, you talked about Chris Clark in this game. What has it been, maybe, has there been anything different these last 2 games that's made him even more dominant than he has been all season?
Just a sophomore. I mean, last year, throwing Chris Clark out there against some heavyweights, and he certainly was very formidable last year. Had a great summer. You know, he's just fighting every game, and 14 out of 21 today, and I think maybe 19 out of 21 or 20 out of 22 last week on the past Providence game. You know, he certainly helps. He's doing his job.
Any other questions? Oh, Mike.
Yeah, how important is it to win a close one?
We had talked about it. I was, you know, we talked about it with the coaching staff. It's really important to understand how to win a game in the fourth quarter, in the closing minutes, because those plays, they mean a lot more. Last week, I think, you know, there was a couple of players, and I went in and at our first practice, and I said, I don't apologize for pulling guys with a minute to go in the Providence game when they were making mistakes, because of days like today. And they have to be, you got to play 60 minutes, sometimes more. And for us to stand up and win a 60-minute game and it to be tight, it's a good test for us. It'll help us later on.
Chris, there was a play, it was like 9-7, and did you kick it out, or was it like you had a split? It seemed like it was a huge one. I don't know if you kicked it out or one of the defensemen stopped it, but it was big.
I mean, that play, like, it was just broken play. The defense out there threw a man down. They were doing a great job out there, and just the ball bounced that guy's way, and I think we got a check on the kid's hands, and the ball bounced, and I think just kicked it. I have no idea. Just popped out. It was a lucky little play.
You know, Chris, Coach already mentioned about the defense coming together. What have you seen the difference the last couple of games?
Just confidence. I mean, we're all communicating. The wind played a little factor in there today. We had Diener in there just screaming, yelling with defense. We're in, talking, communicating, just asking for like the second slide, all that stuff, and it really helped us and brought us together.
Coach, what can you take away from tonight compared to UMass?
Well, you know, the Providence game, you know, their coach spent a lot of time with UMass. And then tonight, Jason Miller, he was a guy that is a byproduct of UMass as well. They all worked under Greg Cannella, and now we got Greg Cannella coming to town. And I don't think, you know, for the people that know what Hofstra UMass is, you know, it's a huge rivalry. Hofstra St. John's, you know, sometimes the ball is irrelevant for minutes at a time. The same thing with UMass. There are two teams that like each other maybe in August, and then for the other 11 months, you know, there's no greeting cards being sent back and forth. So I expect a war on Saturday.
Thank you.